site, and we have our elder there, Bruce Wolfchild, and a lot of our people went up there to fix their pipes. But one of the things that comes closest, and I think this is what this conference is about, is dialogue. Because the impoverished translation of Kidakisawat is we visit. And in the English language, visiting is kind of scorned upon, especially in the workplace. Oh, they're just visiting. You know, it's an activity that doesn't happen enough. Even with us in our community, that activity is happening, but not as much as it could. It's a very healing aspect of who we are. And that is really dialogue comes closest. You know, when some of the elders encouraged me to go on and get educated, one of the things they said, if we could speak their language, we would tell them, again, enough. Take what you need. Because if you take more than you need, we're going to have problems. So you go to school, learn their language, and please tell them, you know, slow down. You're destroying things. And when we visit these sites, we make offerings. And usually we bring raw kidney. We feed these sites. I know when I go visit Carol and John, one of the things I like is food. You know, there's always food. In ceremony, there's always food. So it's, and what is food? Well, it's life-giving. Right? It's a sharing. So when we go to these sites, they're elders, they're our grandparents, they're our ancestors. We need to engage in a dialogue. Now, the other thing that they have, this notion of outcomes. Okay? When I hear outcome, I think of outcomes. I don't know why, but outcomes is not immediate. Outcomes may be that night, maybe the next day. It might be the next month. It might be 2 years later. The outcome is going to occur. We have to make amends. This research is very personal. There's no getting it because it's about relationship. This is a talk of the West Butte of Gatuyis. And the word that I know John was working with the state, they're called sweetgrass hills. It's a mistranslation. Sweetgrass is sapatspo. That's what sweetgrass is. Gatuyis is the sweet pine. I think, I forget the scientific name, it's balsam something. But there's a whole story about Gatuyis, and these hills, we call them Gatuyis. And so John was saying, well, the state is open to things like naming these places what we call them. I said, well, let's just call them Gatuyis. We can learn English. Certainly we can learn a little Blackfoot, because that's what they're called, Gatuyis. But for people that don't know, they can remember it by Sweetgrass Hills, which is a mistranslation of this place. That's a hard climb for me. Because look, I'm trying to keep my stomach in. I climbed that 30 years ago, almost 30 years ago. I was at university, I was much fitter. I all but ran up that hill, got up there and ate, and I just wanted to get down the hill to go to Sweetgrass, Montana, where Coors beer was just coming up north. That's where my life was at that time. And this one was, I broke down. I broke down when I got up there. Not just because of the emotion, but I was cramping on the inside of my legs. And you shouldn't climb this during the hottest part of winter. I mean, here's another nappy moment. But I was able to do what this place is supposed to be about, and that is make an offering. And each of the buttes is story. There's stories to each of those buttes, 3 of them. And it was such a wonderful experience just to go up there a second time and realize what this place is about. The view up there is just fantastic. I was hoping Ryan had his slide of when he climbed Chief Mountain. And, okay, it's down there. We're relying on. It's, children are so important. That's what the Mihuquakes and the Pleiades are. They're on our flags. Right? When you go in and out, there's stories of children and how important they are. Gamutan. When we get sick, when we in Blackfoot, when a woman is giving birth, when they give birth, it's finished. Life has, because it's a time of danger too. Some mothers don't make it. So we use that word, they made it through. So we say in winter, to make it through winter. So in our prayers, it's kamotan. So we tell our young people when they bring coffee to you, may you grow old, may you become an old woman. I don't want to be an old woman, Or I don't want to be an old man. One of the people that we worked with in Kainai Studies was Dr. Tony Lawson. He was Dean of Arts and Science at the University of Lethbridge for many years. He was on their faculty for over 25 years. And when he was finished, one of the things that struck me about Tony was he came and worked for us on a volunteer basis. Because if we paid him, it would affect his tax bracket. But you really enjoyed. And I just thought, he should be an elder for the university. He said he's just kind of kicked out to retire. For us, we regressed when we have our retirement. We regressed. So when we say, may you grow old, it's that you have a role. You have such an important role. I'm not there yet. I'm still young. But in our ways, and it's not me that decides, it's the community that decides. I was asked by Apaki, Patty. I didn't ask for the prayer. Our community decides who our ceremonialists are. So I've reached that stage because of what I have been involved in. So our elders have a role, and we have elders too that were hit by the residential school and those things that go along with it, that never took the time or were scared or the bundles were gone to join these societies. And now they cannot be ceremonialists. And those issues play out. This is our encampment last year. I never realized how close we came to losing this until I joined it. If you ever watch a movie that I recommend, it's called Circle of the Sun, National Film Works. You just look at that. And there it talks about this encampment. And the prediction was that this was going to stop. And it was based on information that this was targeted, like many other tribes, and it was outlawed. But when I count my lucky stars, one of them is the fact that I am so lucky that my first language is our language. And I'm so lucky, and this is where the responsibility can be overwhelming. Those people that were under great pressure to stop our encampment did not give up. Because if they had, I wouldn't be standing up here being able to say I was involved. Then I have that choice whether I should join or not. And I have to do my best so that it ensures my grandchildren and their children that they have that same opportunity.
This is, now we're going to start talking about some of the challenges. Is referencing literally getting whipped in the face. If you have a herd, you want to cull